In the silent hours of the night, when the conscious mind sleeps, another world awakens, the world of dreams. We see a parade of strange and vivid images, a theater of the absurd, and we often dismiss them as meaningless. But what if these dreams are not nonsense at all, but a royal road to a hidden part of ourselves? What if they are a secret language, a coded message from a mysterious realm that holds the key to our deepest desires and our most powerful fears? History has given us a man who dared to enter this realm, a Viennese doctor who, with a fierce and controversial intellect, charted the landscape of the human psyche, introducing us to the dark currents of the unconscious mind. He argued that our hidden thoughts and unfulfilled wishes reveal themselves when our defenses are down. Join us as we step into the depths of the mind with Sigmund Freud to discuss his masterpiece, The Interpretation of Dreams and the Secrets of the Unconscious. Born in the Austrian Empire in 1856, Sigmund Freud was a neurologist who would go on to found Psychoanalysis, a new discipline dedicated to understanding the human mind. After earning his medical degree, he began his career studying hysteria and was deeply influenced by the work of his mentor, Jean-Martin Charcot, who used hypnosis to treat his patients. However, Freud soon moved away from this method and began to develop his own, focusing on a revolutionary technique, talk therapy. His work was controversial from the very beginning. He challenged the prevailing Victorian view of the mind as a purely rational entity and proposed instead that it was a complex, multi-layered structure with a powerful and often irrational unconscious at its core. He spent his life writing and treating patients, all while developing a theory of the mind that would forever change the way we think about psychology, art, and civilization itself. Our conversation today will be centered on Sigmund Freud's monumental work, The Interpretation of Dreams. Published in 1899, this book is arguably the single most influential text in the history of psychology. In it, Freud proposes his central thesis that dreams are not random, but are in fact the royal road to the unconscious. He argues that every dream, no matter how strange, is a wish fulfillment, a coded expression of a repressed desire. He introduces his famous concepts of the id, ego, and superego, and lays out a new method for interpreting dreams, a method that would become the foundation of psychoanalysis.
Dr. Freud, welcome. Your book has fundamentally changed how we think about the human mind. Let's begin with your central claim that every dream is a wish fulfillment. What do you mean by this?
I mean that a dream is the fulfillment of a wish. It is a hallucinatory fulfillment of a repressed desire. The content of the dream may seem strange or nonsensical, but it is a disguised expression of a wish. It is a release for a repressed impulse that would otherwise cause anxiety.
But why is it disguised? Why can't the wish be direct?
Because the wish is often a painful or unacceptable one. The unconscious mind must protect the dreamer from its true content. A dream has two parts: the manifest content, the dream as it is remembered, and the latent content, the hidden, true meaning of the dream. The dream work is the process of turning the latent content into the manifest content through various mechanisms, such as symbolism and displacement.
You propose a model of the mind with three distinct parts: the id, the ego, and the superego. Can you explain these?
The id is the reservoir of our most primitive and irrational desires. the part of the mind that seeks immediate gratification. It is the pleasure principle. The superego is our moral conscience, the part of the mind that has internalized all the social rules and moral codes of our parents and society. It is the source of guilt and shame. The ego is the conscious part of the mind. It is the great mediator, the part of the mind that tries to balance the irrational demands of the id with the moral demands of the superego, all while navigating the reality of the external world.
You argue that childhood experiences are crucial in shaping our adult lives. Why?
The experiences of a child, particularly the first 5 years of his life, lay the foundation of the psyche. All of the great conflicts of the adult, the struggle between the id and the superego, have their origins in the child's mind. The unresolved conflicts of childhood become the neuroses of the adult.
What is the significance of symbolism in dreams?
The symbols in a dream are universal, a language of the unconscious. A king or queen can symbolize one's parents. A snake can be a symbol of a repressed sexual desire. These symbols are not random. They are part of a shared unconscious language that is used to disguise the true meaning of a dream.
You believe that all human actions are determined by our unconscious mind. Is there any room for free will?
I believe that what you call free will is often nothing more than a rationalization for a deep-seated unconscious impulse. The choice is made long before the conscious mind becomes aware of it. The unconscious is the true master of the house, and we are but its servant.
What is the role of anxiety and repression in the formation of dreams?
Anxiety is the signal that an unacceptable impulse from the id is threatening to break through into consciousness. The ego's defense mechanism of repression pushes his impulse back into the unconscious, but it is never truly gone. The dream is a way of allowing this repressed wish to be expressed, but in a disguised form so that the dreamer can sleep without being disturbed by the anxiety of the original thought.
So are all dreams related to sex?
I would not say all, but I would say that a great number of them are. The sexual instinct is one of the most powerful and repressed forces in the human psyche. It is the source of many of our deepest conflicts and our most profound desires, and it is a recurring theme in the language of the unconscious.
What is the difference between a dream and a daydream?
A daydream is a conscious fantasy. It is a form of wish fulfillment that is not repressed. A dream is an unconscious fantasy. It is a form of wish fulfillment that has been disguised by the dream work. The dream is the true expression of the unconscious mind.
You wrote that the royal road to the unconscious is through dreams. What did you mean by this?
I meant that dreams are the most direct and accessible way to understand the unconscious mind. Through the careful interpretation of dreams, we can begin to uncover the repressed wishes, the forgotten memories, and the hidden conflicts that are shaping our lives.
What is the therapeutic value of dream interpretation?
The goal of psychoanalysis is to bring the unconscious into the conscious mind. By interpreting a patient's dreams, we can begin to understand their neuroses and their unresolved conflicts. The act of understanding a dream can be a powerful act of self-discovery, which can lead to a great deal of healing and a greater sense of peace.
You believed that art is a form of sublimation. What is this?
I believed that art is a socially acceptable way of expressing a repressed, unconscious desire. The artist, in a sense, is able to express his deepest and most primitive impulses in a beautiful and meaningful way. It is a way of transforming a repressed wish into a great work of art.
What is your message to the modern world, which is still fascinated and at times skeptical of your ideas?
I would say that you must learn to listen to the whispers of your unconscious mind. The mind is a vast and complicated place, and the rational mind is only a small part of it. The secrets of your fears, your desires, and your neuroses are not to be found in your conscious thoughts, but in the strange and mysterious world of your dreams. It is a long and difficult journey, but it is the only way to truly know yourself.
Dr. Freud, in our time, we are obsessed with our public image on social media, often creating a highly curated and sanitized version of our lives. How would your theories apply to this?
I would say that your social media is the ego's grandest illusion. It is a conscious performance, an act of self-presentation that is meant to please others and to suppress the real, often messy truth of the id and the guilt of the superego. You are trying to create a flawless image of yourself, but in doing so, you are creating a new kind of repression. The anxiety and the dissatisfaction you feel are the unconscious mind's silent protest against this performance. Your social media is a kind of collective neurosis, a public dream that is meant to hide the truth from yourselves and from one another.
If you were alive today, what would be your perspective on the debates surrounding cancel culture, where people and institutions are attacked for violating a certain set of social norms?
I would say that it is a form of the tyranny of the masses. It is a passion of the moment that seeks to tear down individuals and institutions without any regard for due process, for tradition, or for the long-term consequences. It is a symptom of a society that has lost all sense of grace and humility. I would advise a society to be cautious of this, and to remember that the wisdom of ages is a far more reliable guide than the passions of the day.
Closing reflections and summary. And so our time with Sigmund Freud concludes. His work, though often controversial, has had an incalculable impact on the 20th and 21st centuries. He taught us that the human mind is not just a rational tool, but a complex, multi-layered realm with a powerful and often irrational unconscious at its core. He showed us that the dreams we have in our sleep are not meaningless, but are a kind of secret language from a hidden part of ourselves. Freud's legacy is a profound and lasting one. He gave us a new vocabulary to talk about our inner lives and a new method for understanding ourselves. His work challenges us to look beyond the surface of our conscious thoughts and to listen to the whispers of our unconscious. Thank you for joining us, and until our next dialogue, remember to pay attention to your dreams.